All right, hey everyone, this is Ash. Welcome back to the King's Speech. We're getting caught up on some Shonen Jump stuff this week. It's been a little wild here because of me doing a bunch of overtime at work. So it's been really busy, and our boy is exhausted. But I've built up a little bit of a backlog here, and I don't want it to get I don't want it to get any bigger because it feels like it would be a little bit suffocating. Getting caught up with it this week. I already recorded reactions for the latest chapters of Kaiju as well as Goku Rakugai. So we're going to get around to the next couple of chapters of Akane-Banashi today as well. So a lot of content is going to be coming your way this week and weekend. So if you haven't already, please do like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. It really does mean a lot to me. It really does help me out a lot, especially during these stressful months. So if you'd like to help me out with that, that'd be greatly appreciated. Without further ado, let us get into it with Akane-Banashi, Story 103, Tension and Release. With story by Yuki Suenaga, art by Takamasa Moe, with Rakugo supervision by Keiki Hayashiya, translation by Stephen Paul, and lettering by Snare Aaron. Let me just quickly look up, because I keep forgetting Reporter Bro's character's name, which you have Akane going, "It's suffocating. The audience holds its breath. Tension." It's like, this is the experience of Master Taizen's Rakugo. And he starts off with a, "Hey, why'd they tell all 36 tenants of this row house to meet up? They've never done this before." And Akane is like, he went right into the story. It's like, "It's so he can demand money. The landlord wants the rent. He's taking rent." And you see Taizen just like, arms crossed, looking grumpy. He's like, "Even though he's the landlord?" It's like, "Because he's the landlord." You see a rattle, 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 rattle. As you see in the VIP green room, what's his face? Spiky hair. What the hell was his name? Sorry, give me a second here. Where are you, Spiky hair? Miroku Kashiwaya. Who goes with the ah. So you have tension and release. When people are released from a tense situation, they laugh. It's a theory forwarded by a great Okanban from the Kansai era. And you see as he's just like, Taizen's putting on like this angry face. It's like he goes out of his way to create a nervous tension, which when released, and he imagines like the metaphor being like him filling up a balloon, which he then like pokes with the needle to pop. It's like leads to a burst of laughter. Nerves stretched to an extreme will translate into fear, so you still want them light enough to laugh about. You have the Arakawa Arch 4. He thinks back to, what was it, Afro Bro? Sorry, it's been a while since I've done this. I can't remember their names. Zensho telling him, "Don't ever give a recommendation to one of Shiguma's pupils. This is a master's order. You must obey." You have sensitive. It's like that Shibahama's like a sweet bun without the filling. It's like fickle. It's like, "You braid your hair." Unfair. He never cajoles or flatters. Being hated means nothing to him. He is utterly selfish to the greatest extent, and therefore there is no falsehood. His words are sincerely meant, and thus they cut deeply into the listener. Discipline means withstanding unfairness. It's like, this is all your fault. It's like, it's not enough. Not enough suffering. I refined my art in the midst of unfairness. Like, not enough suffering. It's like, it's done that path. Suffering has long been closed. And things back to Shinta telling him, like, "You're taking this too seriously. It's just Rakugo." It's like, "I thought so. You've all been late on your rent payments for quite a while. How long have you gone without paying? 9 months? And you, 8 months. 2 years? Got a lot to make up. What about you?" He's like, "I'm at 1. It's like, "Well, that's not bad. 1 month of rent to pay is perfectly normal." It's like, "No, not that. If I had just 1 month, I'd be bragging about it." It's like, "One what then? 1/2 year?" So that'd be quite an accomplishment. 1 year? A laudable feat. It's like, "Don't tell me it's been 3 years. It's like, I'd be a hero." It's like, 5 years? The landlord himself would come to thank me. He's like, "All right then, how long have you gone without paying your rent?" It's like, "How long? Well, I only paid the one time when I moved in, so it's been a cool 18 years. Just pay your rent already." As you have a sea of laughter. And you see in the wings, Zensho's just watching him with this look of like confused disdain on his face. You have, "Master, I was foolish for wavering. I will follow in your footsteps." And I'll follow in your footsteps and act on my own whims. And you see Chocho is also taken aback by this. He's haha, that sounds great. Then it's a promise. Shinoji, Tainoji, once we're all Shinuchi, then we'll... Alright, so that felt like a very short chapter, even though it was like, respectable length. But yeah, don't have a lot to say because it felt like a very short chapter. But I do like, again, how we're getting like these different like ideas of like how to do Rakugo, where it's like, the whole like the sense of like relief, like your muscles tense up, like the feeling of relief that happens afterwards when you release all that tension. So I do like how like the psychological and like biological aspects play into kind of Rakugo performances where you're trying to kind of elicit a specific reaction from the audiences. So again, I do love like how they're showcasing like how involved Rakugo is as an art form, like the complexities of all of it. So I really do love that. I do love how they're making Zensha out to be the kind of asshole who's like, oh, he's the guy that only tells the truth. Like, even if it hurts, it's like, no, he just says that just so he can be an asshole. He's got exactly that kind of energy around him. I also do love how Taizen's kind of like flipping this whole idea, like, there's always been this idea, like, art is suffering. If you haven't suffered for your art, then you're not really like, an artist or a creative, things like that. And I love how you see like the weight of what that's done to Taizen, like how much damage is done to him, and how he's also kind of like releasing himself of that burden, like letting go of all that tension that he's been carrying around with him. So I really do love that aspects of it. But yeah, apart from that, not really a lot to say. Not a jam-packed chapter, but pretty solid. But yeah, looking forward to what's happening next. Hopefully this arc is going to have a little bit better of a climax than it's kind of leading towards right now, but we'll see what happens. So like I mentioned, a lot of videos are going to be coming out this weekend. So we got Kaiju Gokurakugai and Akane-Banashi. Read-throughs will resume sometime in May once I've had a chance to kind of re-energize and once I'm not doing as much overtime anymore. But yeah, a lot of good stuff is going to be coming your way next little while. So like I mentioned in the beginning, if you like this content, please do like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. It really does mean a lot to me. Yeah, it'd really be greatly appreciated. So until next time, this is Ash. I'll talk to you all later.